Hi folks, just a quick one. Hope everyone is good. I've just posted this setup SAND USDT daily chart in Charts and Setups for people. This is a great example of a setup which demonstrates Confluence. Confluence is the key to becoming a successful trader. Confluence allows you to combine several ideas to create a bullish case for entering a trade. The more bullish ideas you have, the more probability, the greater the probability the trade will be a success. Now, so we have a cup and handle pattern, which is a consolidation or reversal pattern over a long period of time. So this is the end of the previous markdown phase from the old bull run, entering into 2023 here, and then we finally kind of enter this cup and handle pattern where the price actually comes down, it finds a bottom, starts curving up again, but there's a lot of sellers there, so then it comes back down again, but this time there's less sellers, so it has a better chance of breaking out, which is why it has just broken out. But we also don't just have the neckline of this cup and handle pattern, which is the line to watch when thinking about entering a buy the breakout trade or a buy the retest trade. We've also got this lovely long-term diagonal line as well, which is being respected by the price action. It's acting as resistance here and here and here and here. So we've not just, the price action hasn't just broken out of the cup and handle, it's also broken out of this long-term diagonal trend line, which means we've just potentially turned all of these sellers across this neckline and all of these sellers across this diagonal trend line into buyers, as the price action is now attempting to retest not just the neckline of the cup and handle, but also the other side of this diagonal trend line, which means we've got double the set of buyers right in this little pocket here. So this is an excellent example of a really good and strong setup. The only thing is we need Bitcoin to play along. So if you were thinking of entering this setup, you would zoom in to knowing that it's a very bullish setup. This is a very good setup, but you need Bitcoin to play along. So you would zoom into the hourly chart, right? And you'd look for an entrance, and the entrance is going to be based around confirmation that it's going to continue higher. So we'll quickly just find a pattern of some kind. Not sure I can see an obvious one. Let's have a look. Just try and find some line in the sand we can use. Okay, so we've got a diagonal trend line there. We've got 3 touches. I'm happy with that. Have we got? Yes, we've got a bit of a descending wedge. Okay, this is great. So we've identified a descending wedge. It's not perfect. And if it's not perfect, that means that the weight it carries is a little bit lesser. But I think that's definitely, we've got 3 touches here, 3 touches there, acting as resistance. So this is definitely a descending channel. Not the best, but we've got a descending channel. And here is the key support line intersecting. This is the neckline of the cup and handle pattern, you can see here. And this is the yellow diagonal trend line we were just looking at. So you have a complete confluence of 2 bullish ideas here. Now, the only thing which is stopping this trade going right now is Bitcoin. Bitcoin is currently in a downtrend. We're putting in lower highs, lower lows, lower lows. So we need to see a higher high before even considering entering this trade. But let's say Bitcoin does give us a higher high, and it starts giving us indications that we can start entering long altcoin positions again. Then we'll go to our setup and we'll be like, right, okay, so we just need confirmation that this is going to continue higher. So we mark another trend line here, make it clear that we're using it for an alert. We put an alert on this trade, SAND long trade alert, and click OK. And when the price action breaks out of this pattern, this descending wedge, which has a 70 to 80% chance of a break to the upside, and if Bitcoin gives us a bullish signal, like a higher high or breaking above this moving average as an example, then that would give us the confidence to enter this trade. So the second we get an alert here and we break up, we can double check that Bitcoin is going in our favor. It's not right now, but if Bitcoin is giving us bullish signals and sand breaks out of its downtrend by breaking out of this diagonal trend line, then that would be your cue to enter your trade, because we've got confirmation that the trend is going to change on sand, on the setup itself, and also we've got confirmation from Bitcoin when it gives it to us that the market is potentially going to shift into a more bullish sentiment, and then we'd enter our trade. Simple as that. If we don't wait for confirmation, if we just buy into sand now blindly, then what could happen is the price action could very simply do this. Roll back down like this. Okay, it could just do this. And even though, of course, we're at the beginning of the bull run, so you're not going to be down for long, you don't want to be holding downtrends and you don't want your money to be stuck in loss here. So ultimately what you're looking for is you're looking for Bitcoin to give us some bullish indications, and when it does, then we want to look for a breakout, which we could buy and maybe ride up to here, right? Or we could maybe buy the retest and ride it up to here, all of which is much more bullish than watching it just descend downwards. And this is more likely to play out for us. The price action is more likely to go up if we get confirmation that we're breaking out of this downtrend, because other sellers would see that as an indicator and attempt to enter as well. And as long as Bitcoin is giving similar signals, you're going to have players entering the market, which will push the price up, and you can then ride it and take profits. However, if you enter now, when Bitcoin is still technically in a downtrend on a macro level, and you enter now before sand has broken, it's given us an indication it's breaking out of its short-term downtrend, then you run the risk of having a failed trade. So look for confirmation on the lower time frames, on the 1 hour. Look for a bullish signal from Bitcoin, which we haven't had yet, and that's when you enter your trade. Don't just look at one of these setups as it is when I give it to you. Don't just look at it like this and think, great, Paul's posted a setup, we're going to get into this because blah, blah, blah. No, don't do that. These setups only play out if and when we get the correct signals. Now, the reality is that sand is, of course, like everything, going to go up because we're just beginning. The bull market is just beginning. But we do not want to be entering at the wrong point. So the sand might start going up here in May. It might start finally going up in May. Or it might start going up now. But in order to get the best chance of riding that wave is we need to get confirmation that it's going to do that. So zooming into the lower time frames, looking for a good entrance and looking for confirmation from the wider market that it's turned back to bullish from its current temporary bearish sentiment, it gives you the best chance of succeeding and making quick profits. So that's how you use these setups. And that's why sand is a particularly good one. But don't just jump in now. That's it for now. Just a little update on that.